Hollywood's most bankable and nicest stars, but in his latest big screen role, Tom Hanks is anything but nice. He plays Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's infamous manager, in Baz Luhrmann's new epic about the king of rock and roll.
Yeah, Ali was lucky enough to catch up with him on the Goldie to talk all things Elvis.
It is so nice to see you again, Tom.
Pleasure. Well, we've been around the world, haven't we? Singapore, wine cellars, and now this vast expanse.
And I've got your good side. We talked about that in great length in Singapore, about the good side and the bad side.
Oh, my Lord. Well, okay, here's what happens. As soon as you hit a certain age, it doesn't matter. You know, both sides are kind of like, you know, as checkered as you're going to get. So you stop worrying about that after a while.
Yeah, worry less about it. And I don't know, I reckon I can't tell the difference. Does it get better or worse? I think it gets better.
Oh, it does. Oh, it gets worse.
I tell you who does not have a good side, though, is your character in this film.
Colonel Tom Parker.
He is...
What do you mean by that?
Well, physically, I mean, this is probably the only time I'll ever say this to you, Tom. You made my skin crawl.
Well, okay, this is interesting because prior to this, did you have any idea what Colonel Tom Parker looked like?
No.
No, see, no one did. Even when Baz first came to me to talk about Elvis, which was like, why are you here to talk about Elvis? And he said, because there would have been no Colonel Tom Parker without Elvis. There would have been no Elvis without Colonel Tom Parker. I had no idea he was this fat, old, kind of a man who ate as much ice cream as he wanted to eat. I mean, Austin Butler is Elvis. He's got an awful lot that he has to live up to. I had nothing that I had to live up to. I just had to, you know, look at some photographs of this weird guy and ask Baz, you want to do this? And he said, oh, yeah. Okay, well, then I'm your man.
I wish to promote you, Mr. Presley. Are you ready to fly?
I'm ready.
For me, right, the film was epic. I thought you were extraordinary, but I found it so weird you playing a bad guy.
All right, let's examine this concept
You don't think
of
he's
the
bad.
bad guy. Here's what makes him, quote unquote, bad. He does not have an artistic bone in his body. He does not care about the output of his one client, Elvis Presley. His job was to promote whatever came out of that guy.
Do you think he liked Elvis?
Oh, he loved Elvis. He absolutely adored it. And Elvis loved him, and I have that on literally the word of Priscilla Presley herself. To Priscilla Presley and Jerry Schilling of the Memphis Mafia, Colonel Tom Parker was one of the most delightful men they've ever met. They're sorry he passed away. He took care of them. He never lied to them. Was he a bit of a shyster when it came down to they had to sue him for his money and whatnot? But he could have changed. He could have fired the Colonel. He could have gotten rid of the Colonel. He could have made movies that he wanted to make. Why didn't he do it? Well, I think that speaks about Elvis. And why didn't the Colonel see that there was something greater to Elvis's output than he imagined? And the reason is because he did not have an artistic bone in his body. And by that, you would have to say, he was a bad guy. He was a bad manager. I think he was, because he didn't maximize his fabulous artistic potential.
You may go to college, you may go to school.
How was it doing a film with Baz Luhrmann, our Baz?
Baz makes coffee nervous. He is I will tell you this, there is no one who works harder on a set than Baz Luhrmann. He pushes it right up to the very edge every single day. Our day would always start with a little conversation about the day's pages and a couple of flat whites. Oh, well, flat white, yeah.
How was it being surrounded by so many Aussie accents during the filming? I mean, they were on set, they were behind the scenes.
It was frustrating because here's somebody I'd been talking to all day long and thought they were absolutely concrete American. And then as soon as they break off by themselves, it's all, oh, yabba dabba gabba, you know, hey, mate, you know, what, did you go? Have you had what'd you do on the holiday, did you? And it was a bit disconcerting, but I found myself like at FaceTimes back to the family, you know, back to the United States. And I said, have you had a good day? Hey, you know what I did yesterday? I put way too much Vegemite on my toast. Didn't know. I thought you slathered it on like, you know, Nutella. No, you don't do that, do you?
You caused an international scandal.
Well, I learned, and as soon as I started doing it the right way, I said, yeah, actually my mouth burns a lot less than it did originally.
Get ready now, go, cat, go, but don't you step strap on my blue suede shoe.
Is it nice being back on the Goldie? I mean, this trip's a little bit different. Obviously, the very first time you came here, you and your beautiful wife, Rita, it was a bit problematic.
We made history, that's right. We were the celebrity canaries in the coal mine when it came down to the COVID-19 virus.
Well, I think all of Australians were terrified that we thought we were going to kill Tom Hanks.
Well, for about 72 hours, I thought you just might do that.
We're very relaxed about COVID now. The big concern is monkeypox.
Be careful there. Oh, we'll have that, yeah. I pray I am not the first person to announce he came down with monkeypox. Although, wouldn't it make sense a little bit?
Martin Luther King has been shot to death in Memphis.
That's all right for you.
Tragedy, but it has nothing to do with us.
It has everything to do with us.
Can I say I can handle one film with Tom Hanks in it where you're sort of the bad guy, but I don't know if I can handle any more. Promise me there's going to be no Bond villains down the track.
I can't. The idea of being able to say, well, before we kill you, 007, perhaps you'd like a tour of my installation. I'd love to have that scene with you. That might be fun.
All right. I think we just got an exclusive.
Let's do it.
Tom Hanks' next
well,
role.
I'm just waiting for that call, but if it comes in, I'll jump on it.
We are the same, you and I. We are two odd, lonely children reaching for eternity.
He's just upping his difficulty degree by playing a bad guy.
Isn't he? I'd like to see him as a Bond villain.
Yeah, so did I.
That was a good
Fantastic.
story. I think
Great
that Ali Langdon will go far.
She goes all right.
Really good, yeah.
Elvis is in cinemas on June 23rd.